Okay, dokie, people.
Yeah.
What's happening, people? How you living? How you feeling? Hopefully, you've had a fantastic weekend, and the start of your week is also off to a bright spot. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us on tonight's stream. We will be doing
Absolutely.
a 2024 Dynasty Rookie Draft, and there's a chance that we might be doing multiple if we hit our like goal, which is 100 likes on today's stream. But we appreciate you. Let us know who we're hanging out with. Daniel Macy's in the chat. Our countdown expert, NFL draft countdown expert. 17 days until the NFL draft. That's actually kind of chaotic. We need to start like putting in. We have plans, but we need to actually like put those plans in place. If that makes sense.
There's so much that we still need to do to get ready for that. We've just been grinding so many other stuff, but
Yes, but
yeah, there's a lot.
Obviously, very exciting times. I know all of us are excited for the NFL draft. And by the way, if you want to hang out with us during the NFL draft, well, let me give you some good news. We will be live. We do this every year. Every year we go live on our redraft channel. And it's kind of like the start of our redraft channel starting to create content, right? The NFL draft happens, and a week or so after, we start releasing about a video a day over on the redraft channel, and then we kind of build it up towards the NFL season and post more and more and more. But if you want to join us on that live stream, I'll put a link in the chat. And you see how there's a little notify me button? I don't know if y'all can see that. Click that notify me button, and when we are live for the NFL draft, you will be able to join us over on our redraft channel. Of course, if you don't know about the redraft channel, subscribe over there. But that is going to be fun. We will react to the entire first round. And then after the first round, we'll be live on this Dynasty channel that you're currently watching to do some rookie mock drafts and talk about all the chaos. And there'll be so much content during that time as well. But it's all going down, and we are excited for it. But we see you in the chat. Jacob's here. Casey likes turtles, excuse me.
Turtles.
Chase says, does anyone know how many days are left to the NFL draft? What's up, Skyler, Ben, Sparrow? We appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining us, gang.
How we feeling? How we feeling?
Do us a favor. Hit that like button before the stream starts. We have a like goal today of 100 likes. If we reach 100 likes, we'll do multiple mock drafts for you. But Aki, we're going to get into the draft and everything, but let's start the stream off. What is one thing in the last month that your mind has changed on when it comes to the NFL draft? One thing that you might have believed, and maybe you perceive it differently now as we are about 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. What comes to mind?
What comes to mind at the NFL draft? Well, I'm actually a big believer that the Chargers are going to go offensive line.
Okay.
I think if Malik Neighbors is there, I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, it may sound crazy, but I think Jim Harbaugh has said with the reports that he's brought up that, you know, the foundation of a good team is offensive line. I guess I'm paraphrasing, right? And I know that in our eyes, that's stupid. That is so stupid because you got rid of Keenan Allen, you got rid of Mike Williams, you have Quentin Johnson. Who are you throwing the ball to? With this class and how deep it is, he can easily get a high caliber talent in the second round of the NFL draft. And I think he understands that. I think he understands that, you know, at the 37th pick, he can get a guy that you like in a Jalen Millen or an Xavier Worthy if he falls to the second round, or whatever that wide receiver looks like. I think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to go offensive line, which is going to make things really shake up the draft board. I think they are a team that can potentially move back in the draft, or a team to jump up. Maybe the Giants, maybe that's where the Broncos come in, maybe that's where the Vikings come in. So that's kind of my biggest thing.
I think that makes sense. Joe Alt feels like a lock to the Chargers right now. I think we all in fantasy would hope that it's Malik or Marvin, but Joe Alt feels like the most likely outcome there. But we are doing a rookie mock draft today, guys, and I imagine there might be some people in the chat who would like to join us. How can they join us in this rookie mock draft that we're doing?
Guys, join our Discord. All right, our Discord is going to be in the description, which I'll put in the chat for you guys. Join our Discord and then go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs each and every single mock draft that you see, our content that gets released, for you guys is in the morning. This is where you can get these notifications and click on those links to join either mock draft or watch those videos. So once again, join our Discord, go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, then go to content releases. When you go to content releases, once again, that's how you can get into the mock draft. You can see Zach over there saying hi to everyone, Sparrow, Nature, all those guys are liking that comment. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. It is first come, first serve, so keep that in mind.
Yes.
And I'll send that link out here in 3, 2, 1. That link is out.
That link is out. It will be first come, first serve. But just before we talk about the landing spots, we got to let you know that tomorrow night we will be doing Dynasty team reviews on a live stream. Now, if you're watching this and you want your Dynasty team reviewed by us on a live stream and you want everything that you see on your screen, it's very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I put a direct link, by the way, in the chat to sign up. But when you sign up with the code LAND, you're getting a rookie report from us that we put out every single year that will be updated after the NFL draft. It has so much information for you to dominate your rookie draft. I'm very excited about some additions that I'm going to add to that here after the NFL draft. You get a Dynasty team review. You get unlimited access to our trade calculator, our complete rankings, a DM to us for advice. You get to be a part of our monthly trades video. And, of course, you unlock the entire Discord that we offer. So, again, support the show, get a Dynasty team review, become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. But let's step into the world we are living in today. And the world we are living in today is Shane Hallam's world of NFL Draft Countdown. Shane's world, and we're all just living in it, okay? It's Shane's world, and we are living in it. But he is one of the few people who consistently does a 7-round mock draft. These landing spots I'll put in the chat. It's also in the description. But this is the world we're living in. And the whole point of this exercise is to say, if this were to happen, how would it impact Dynasty rookie drafts? Well,
sure.
How about we look at this? Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear. No surprise there. Jaden Daniels is a Washington Commander. Drake May is a Patriot. Marvin is a Cardinal. Malik is a Charger, so they don't go offensive line. They go Malik Neighbors. Roma Dunze to the Giants. We see Brock Bowers to the Jets. J.J. McCarthy, pick 11 to the Vikings. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Jags. I love to see that. Then we see Adonai Mitchell to the Buffalo Bills and Xavier Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs in round 1. Round 2, where we see Ladd McConkey to the Commanders, Xavier Legette to the Panthers, Michael Penix to the Raiders, Bo Nix to the Giants. We also see Trey Benson to the Dallas Cowboys. He's the first running back off the board, my guy. Keon Coleman to the Lions. Then in round 3, things get spicy with Ricky Pearsall to the Patriots, Jonathan Brooks to the Chargers, Blake Corum to the Giants, Tez Walker to the Cardinals, Jalen Polk to the Bears, Spencer Rattler to the Broncos. We also see Ben Sinnott to the Bengals, Troy Franklin to the Colts, Malachi Corley to the Steelers, Jalen Wright to the Texans, Roman Wilson to the Cowboys. It's a spicy round here. Ended by Jalen McMillan, my guy, my favorite sleeper in the class, to the Cincinnati Bengals. Then we get into rounds 4 and 5. We will look at rounds 4 and 5. 6 and 7 you can look on your own time if you like. But in round 4, we see Johnny Wilson to the Patriots, Braylon Allen to the Cardinals, Jacob Coing to the Falcons, Javon Baker to the Ravens. Let's see here. What else? Will Shipley to the Bucks. The Niners get Brendan Rice. Audric Esme to the Vikings, Theo Johnson to the Chiefs, Malik Washington to the Bills, Jamari Thrash to the Jets. And then we go into round 5, last round we'll look at together, where Bucky Irvin is a Bronco, Jaheim Bell is a Patriot, Dylan Johnson is a Panther, AJ Barner is a Falcon, Ray Davis is a Buffalo Bill, Dallin Halker to the Broncos, Jermaine Burton to the Raiders, Luke McCaffrey to the Saints, Tyrone Tracy, who is getting some love, goes to the Colts, Dylan Labe to the Jags, Isaiah Davis to the Rams, Joe Milton to the Rams, Isaac Herendo to the Chiefs in round 5. Don't sleep. Michael Pratt to the Saints, Kendall Milton to the Eagles. And if you guys want to look again at rounds 6 and 7, you can do that on your own time. But this link is in the chat. It's in the description. That is the world we're living in today. Superflex, PPR, tight end premium. Okay, again, Superflex, PPR, tight end premium, and that is the world that we are looking at today. So let's get this started here in 3, 2, 1. Caleb Williams off the board at the 101. Then Marvin Harrison Jr. goes next. And I'm at the 103. Very difficult decisions to make here.
Tough one.
Because there's a lot of really good players available. Caleb's gone. Marvin's gone. And I have to choose between 3 players that were selected in the top 5, 2 of them being quarterbacks, and 1 of them being a wide receiver that I'm absolutely obsessed with. So in today's world, I'm going to go ahead and draft Malik Neighbors, who went to the Chargers. Let me ask the chat, what do you guys think? If Marvin is a Cardinal and Malik is a Charger, is there any chance that Malik Neighbors goes ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr.? What do you guys think? What do you think, Badake?
I think it just depends on the landing spot. I've been saying this all along. The landing spot is huge. If Malik Neighbors does go to the Los Angeles Chargers, I think there is a world where he could potentially go and where he can be somebody, right? I mean, sorry, where he can be number 1 overall in the wide receiver room. So I do agree that there is a world where he can potentially go ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr.
So people were asking, are we not doing a startup draft? And I was a little bit confused, but then I realized that the stream was labeled a startup draft.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was labeled a startup
draft. I'm looking at it right now. Did you
started.
change it? Because I'm looking at it right now. And it says...
Yeah, no, I don't know. That's weird. But we are doing a rookie draft, clearly.
Doing a rookie.
Jaden Daniels is off the board at the 104. What are you thinking here at the 105? People are saying, give me Marv, give me Marv. People still saying Marv in the chat there.
Yeah. I think it just all depends on a lot of scenarios. We've seen it so many times where we get to the NFL draft and someone lands in a spot that no one necessarily likes. And we're saying, I keep saying this. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes to the Patriots. That means they don't have a quarterback. But Malik Neighbors goes to the Chargers. I guarantee you there's going to be so many people switching their tune saying that give me Marvin Harrison Jr. over Malik Neighbors there.
I agree.
So, yes, I am on the clock at the 105. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels going at the 104 here. I'm going to continue. I'm going to go with my QB2. Has always been my QB2 in the class. I know the landing spot is not intriguing, but he goes with the 3rd overall pick to the New England Patriots. I think a lot of disrespect is going to go. I learned my mistake last year. I'm going with the talent over situation. Is this a CJ Stroud type of situation? Right? I mean, obviously that's a whole different scenario. But what if Drake May is a CJ Stroud of this year and you're saying, dang, I should have stuck with my rankings. So I'll take Drake May here at the 105.
All right, Drake May is the pick, and then Brock Bowers off the board next. Tight end premium, and Bowers is the pick here at the 106. He gets to play with Aaron Rodgers in New York. We don't know how long it will last, but we do know that it will be exciting while it is happening, obviously. But yeah, interesting. I'm curious what the chat would do between Bowers and another receiver still on the board. I'm sure Casey will take him, but actually maybe he won't. I mean, this draft is crazy because of how many interesting landing spots there are for fantasy. So I don't want to put the carriage before the horse here.
No question. I think there's a lot of different scenarios. Like if you think of, let's wait and see. Wait and see.
But Bowers is the pick at the 106 for D Macy. Again, our resident NFL draft countdown expert.
I know Casey is scratching his head. Okay, there you go.
I thought that might happen, yeah.
J.J. McCarthy going to the Minnesota Vikings there. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson at the 107 for J.J. If you have the 107, that's sexy in this draft, especially if he goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Then Roma Dunze to my beloved New York Football Giants at the 108. I actually think the player that we're both thinking about, he can go ahead of Roma Dunze based off situation.
No, I was thinking is McCarthy might go ahead of Rome, and he did. I actually thought McCarthy might go ahead of Bowers I think
Oh,
McCarthy could go as high as the 103 if he
but
actually
just
goes to the Vikings.
100%. But based off landing spot,
Sure.
what we talked about earlier, because we recorded a video.
Yeah.
I think that person can go ahead of Rome Odunze as well, based off of the landing spot.
No,
Now that may
that
be
makes
a
sense.
crazy stretch, but yeah.
No,
Let's
that
see.
makes sense. Definitely makes sense. By the way, Kai just said, has Badake ever been told he looks like Leonard Williams? We hear that
Yeah.
very often, actually.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm cutting my hair off.
Adonai Mitchell off the board. He goes to the Buffalo Bills, and he's going to play with Josh Allen. You and I have been saying this for a couple of months. The more we dived into Adonai Mitchell, the more we loved him. I think he's a very underrated route runner. I think he can produce year one in that offense with Josh Allen. Brian Thomas at the 110 links up with Trevor Lawrence as a first-round pick for Jacksonville. And then Xavier Worthy is the Chiefs' first-round pick. So now we're at the point where all of the first-round picks have gone. And I thought my suspicions are correct. I thought maybe Trey Benson would be the last pick in the first round. You know, there is a scenario where we do get a running back at the back end of the first round of rookie drafts. I saw someone say it earlier. I think Jacob said it. He said, I think we're going to see running backs sneak into the first round of rookie drafts depending on landing spots. I wouldn't have thought that until a couple of buddies and I were talking about it yesterday. And it makes a lot of sense. It really, really does. Think about this world that we're living in today with these landing spots. Okay, the first 11 picks are first-round players, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. But then you're starting to ask your question at the end of the first round, do I want a round 2 running back or round 2 wide receiver? Let me tell you guys a little preview on a video I'm about to release. The third best bet you can make in a rookie draft is a round 2 running back. Round 2 running backs have a 65% hit rate in their first 4 years. Hit rate being a top 24 season. The only bets that are less risk would be a round 1 running back or round 1 tight end as far as them hitting in their first 4 years at their position. So to take Trey Benson at the 112, yeah, there is a world where if he is a second round pick and in this world he goes to the Dallas Cowboys, we should be talking about it a little bit more. We should be talking about round 1 running backs being a possibility a little bit more. It depends on how the draft goes, obviously, but in this world, I definitely think Trey Benson is well worthy of being a first round pick. In fact, I'm asking myself, do I want him or Worthy? Like, do I want him or Mitchell? And I think most of the time it's the wide receivers, but it's a good bet. A round 2 running back is a very good bet.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to that, it's all going to depend on landing spot. Like, what happens if he goes to one of the worst landing? Like, how do you balance that when it comes down to having Trey Benson going in the second round, but not to a favorable landing spot, right? I think.
Of course, we'll have to think that through, right? Like last year, Charbonnet, Casey brings up. Charbonnet is obviously one of those players that did not contribute to the hit rate. And by the way, hit rate is different for a quarterback and a tight end. I saw LOTRSD say being a top 24 tight end is not a hit. Hit rate is different for those positions. Top 12 for a tight end is a hit rate. Top 24 for a running back is a hit rate. So those are a little 100%. Bit different. But
it's definitely
of course,
an
landing
even
spot
balance.
matters. Absolutely, it does.
Yeah, even balance with landing spot in draft capital.
Let's play the world out here, right? Trey Benson goes to the Eagles in round 2. Of course not. Right? Of course, we're not going to consider him in round 1. But
even a shaky, like not even like that's like I feel like dead. Like, what if he goes to like the Bears? That's a more of a question. That there's an open window there, right? What if he goes
messy,
to?
But
it is messy.
I like it, but probably not a first round pick. You know, so for sure we have to stop pretending that landing spots don't matter. If JSN has taught us anything, landing spots matter. If Puka Nacua has taught us anything, landing spots matter. Absolutely. Yeah. By the way, after the first round, we always ask the chat, who is the best value in round 1? So why don't you guys let us know who the best value in round 1 is in the chat. Tell us, and I'll ask Badake first before we continue. Badake, who's the best value in round 1?
Man, this is Rome, Mitchell, Brian, Xavier. I think this is where everyone falls. I think everyone is at their value coming into this draft. I think you can nitpick with JJ McCarthy and Brock Bowers. But this is a perfect starting mock draft in my opinion so far.
And when you say perfect, you mean nothing seems unreasonable, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing seems unreasonable. There's no one that seems like, well, he fell significantly or he reached a little bit to where somebody else fell. I think every pick so far is exactly where their value is at based off landing spot and draft capital.
Yeah, I think Adunze is going to be a common response here. Adunze. We have a couple people saying JJ McCarthy, a couple JJs. Makes a lot of sense. Daniel Macy says JJ at the 107. I honestly should have picked him at the 106. I love that landing spot. Great pick by Casey. So even Macy is saying JJ. And we got to be honest, guys. Whatever quarterback goes to the Vikings, we got to be in on. We have got to be in on the Minnesota Vikings quarterback. We cannot be out on that player. It should not happen. It just should not happen in any reality. So it makes a lot of sense. JJ being a lot of people's favorite values, as well as Rome Odunze, who is getting a lot of comps from people that we love in the NFL draft community. People are comping him to Devontae Adams. And it makes sense. I mean, I can kind of see it. My comp was Olave and Sutton at his prime. Those two combined. Yours was T. Higgins and
Twitchier T. Higgins.
Twitchier T. Higgins. I can see a little Devontae Adams there for sure. We did get a super chat, and so we will answer that. Lighthouse says Hurts the 306 for Tua the 105. I have Kyler in the 106 as well. So would you rather have Hurts in the 306 or Tua and Drake May? Tua and Jaden Daniels. Tua and JJ to the Vikings. Tua and Adunze. Tua and Bowers in a tight end premium.
I think it depends on your team construction. No question about it. But I would actually be okay taking the Tua and the 105 side. I think it's an even trade, actually. I would say this is an even trade.
Yeah, I would like to know what the format is. Like you mentioned, I think that is very important.
Without the context, yeah. But for me, without context, I think it's even. And I think if you want Hurts, sure. If you want Tua, sure. Tua in the 105, sure. Like if this is a start five or 6 wide receivers, right? You have 2 flex spots or 3 flex spots. Maybe that 105 is more intriguing because then you could potentially get Rome. Then you could potentially get, a Brock Bowers, whatever that looks like. So that's
let's say it's exciting. It's a start 11 and you can start 6 wide receivers. It's very easily the 105 and Tua. But let's say it's a start 8 or a start 7. It's a really small league and you can only start 3 wide receivers. Then you'd obviously prefer to keep Tua there. I just put it in the Flock Fantasy trade calculator with my rankings to double check my answer before I said anything. And it says it's a fair trade. Down the middle, fair trade. But of course, I don't know your exact league settings. That might change how that formula or that algorithm ends up ranking that with my rankings personally. With the community rankings, the community would say fair trade as well. So down the board, pretty fair trade. He says start 11. Start 11, I'm going to be leaning the Tua and the 105 side then.
Yeah, I would agree there. I would agree in the start.
So we're on the same page. Hey guys, just a heads up, we do have a like goal today of 100 likes. If we reach that like goal, we will pop off a second mock draft for you guys. Do us a favor, smash that like button. We are already at 63 likes. So we're about 37 likes away from that goal. With your help, I have no doubts that we can do it. You guys always help us reach our like goals. So we appreciate you big time. But let's get into round number 2. That's right, bilingual.
Oh, bilingual. ESL.
English is my second language. No.
Hello, brother.
Man.
I don't know if you guys know Sketch, but he was hanging out with CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. Tell me you know it.
Pretty great.
New wide receivers, Texans wide receiver. Jonathan Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks does go off the board. He went to the Chargers in round 3. That is an incredibly fun landing spot. I love the pick.
Super hot fire. I love it as well. I was kind of hoping that he was going to fall to me, but I kind of, I
had that hope too, but I figured he felt like a sore thumb looking at the rest of the players available in this world. But yeah, Brooks to the Chargers. They got Gus Edwards there. Clearly not a long-term answer for them. And we know they're going to run the ball a lot, so Jonathan Brooks is a fun pick. Lab McConkey was who I wanted next. He goes to the Commanders in round 2. This would be terrible news for Jahan Dotson owners. But Lad, you can play him all over the field, so I like that pick a lot. And I'm sat here having to make a very difficult decision. And I'm trying to decide if I think this player might fall to me in round 3 or not. I think he's worthy of being selected right here. But I'm curious if he will fall.
Okay.
So I'm going to play the game a little bit. And I'm going to actually draft Ricky Pearsall here.
Slick Ricky.
I'm going to take Slick Ricky off the board. He went to the Patriots in round 3. And he gets to go through rookie camp with Drake May in an offense where there is no clear number 1. He gets to build chemistry from day 1. I think he can instantly produce out of the slot. You can put him outside as well if you like. Good testing numbers. Ricky, I think, has a great chance to produce day 1 in New England. Blake Corum comes off the board next. He goes to your New York Giants. How do you feel about a combo of Blake Corum and Devin Singletary?
It's Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. That's how I feel.
Okay,
now,
right.
Blake Corum is I say the better talent. It's just going to be that for fantasy, in my opinion.
Okay. It's messy.
Yeah, it's messy. I don't love it. All right, at the 205 on the board here. I'm taking Xavier Leggett. Going to the Carolina Panthers, 39th overall pick.
Makes sense.
I know Deontay Johnson's there. I know Adam Thielen's there. But I like this landing spot for him. He brings the size and the speed to this offense. And a little bit of versatility as well. Daniel Macy going Michael Penix Jr. going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Three-headed monster over there with Adonai Mitchell.
Damn it. Okay. I should have just gone with my guy.
Should have just gone with your guy, man.
Jalen McMillan would have been my pick if this was a real draft at the 203. He goes to the Bengals. Maybe I should have been aware that everyone knows the players that I love, so it was a bit silly for me to think that they would fall. But I was trying to see how far they would fall. Jalen McMillan off the board. I think he's a perfect Boyd replacement, and he could absolutely produce year 1 or year 2 when Higgins potentially might move on. The thing I was going to ask you about Leggett, because we know Leggett goes round 2 to the Panthers. I know you like Leggett. I like Leggett. You probably are higher on him. Yep. My concerns with Leggett is he's a great athlete, but I have always had questions around his ability to separate at the next level. Not to the same extent as a Keon Coleman, a little bit different athletes there, but I think he's very much a project at this point, and he's an older player. I'm a little bit concerned that this might be a Jonathan Mingo 2.0, a guy who is not a specialized, space creator. It's a different offense, different head coach, but those were a little bit of my concerns with Leggett to the Panthers. I'm not sure how you felt with him.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he may have been a late breakout, but Jonathan Mingo didn't have that breakout in college. He was like, look at these traits, look at these attributes that he can bring to the team. The ceiling was high for him coming out because of the incredible catches, and I'm trying to remember what the breakdown was for Jonathan Mingo. I'm just trying to pull it up as I'm talking here.
Jonathan Mingo, that's his rookie stats. Out of Ole Miss, what was his best season ever? 861 yards and 5 touchdowns. But he produced more in his first 3 years than Leggett did. Because Leggett virtually produced nothing in his first 3 years.
But Jonathan Mingo, who did he have? Because Ole Miss had a good quarterback as well, didn't they? I'm trying to think of the quarterback play.
Jackson Dart, but he also had Matt Corral.
In the first 3 years. Yeah, Matt Corral. Matt Corral was, coming in the first couple of years was going to be a first-round overall pick. That wasn't the case. Xavier Leggett had Spencer Rattler and forgot the other quarterback. So I think there's a lot of different situations and scenarios and conversations to be had with both. But I like Xavier Leggett overall better as a talent than Jonathan Mingo is now. Yes, the downside is an older prospect. So I'll still take him.
It makes sense. Just wanted to open the conversation up there. But that is the end of round 2. And we'll ask the chat like we always do. Who's the best value in round 2? What's the pick that you're pointing to saying that is a great value? Zach, shocked this guy is still on the board. I don't know who he's referring to. But by the way, to end the second round, Jalen Wright goes off the board. He went to the Texans, Braylon Allen to the Cardinals, Lloyd to the Bengals, and Malachi Corley to the Steelers. I like that pick. I like the Corley pick.
I like the Corley pick as well.
Because the Steelers, that's the first receiver they drafted in this draft. I think they need someone like Corley now that Deontay Johnson's gone, and he complements Deontay Johnson in a way that like a Brian Thomas, a Adonai Mitchell, to an extent, a Keon Coleman wouldn't.
The yards after the catch would be incredible there for Russell Wilson or Justin Fields in that offense. Instantly becomes the number 2 or maybe even number 1 wide receiver behind George Pickens. So, yeah, a lot of excitement.
So, who's your favorite value in round 2? Best value pick in round 2.
Best value pick. Man. I would have to say Malachi.
Okay.
3rd round pick. I think he could have gone higher than some of these players personally. I can see him going ahead of the Marshawn Lloyds, the Braylon Allens, the Jalen Wrights. For him to fall there. 3 spots down where I would have taken Malachi over the running back based off of that landing spot. So I'll take Malachi Corley for me.
A lot of people agreeing with you saying Malachi Corley. For me, it would be Jalen McMillan. I was trying to play the game. The game played me. Should have went Jalen McMillan at the 203. I just think he's a perfect fit in Cincinnati, especially thinking about if T. Higgins moves on. Jalen McMillan out of the slot, moving Jamar Chase all over the field. It's just a perfect fit. I can't explain how much I love Jalen McMillan.
I just
incredible value. A lot of people talking about the quarterbacks. Earlier I talked about the hit rates for different positions, right? I don't want to get too caught up on hit rates, but you guys might have often heard me say I don't bet on round 2 quarterbacks. There's a reason I don't do that. In the last 10 years, only 12.5% of quarterbacks in round 2 have hit for fantasy in their first 4 years. And a hit for a quarterback is a top 12 finish. In fact, in my opinion, it's one of the more high-risk bets that you can make in a Dynasty rookie draft. I think it's the second most risky bet that you can make in a rookie draft is a round 2 to 7, anywhere in that range quarterback, behind round 4 to 7 wide receivers.
Just to expand on that, what is the actual? I don't know if you have it. Like, there were in the last 10 years, there were 10 quarterbacks that went in the second round and only 2 hit. Like, what's the? In
the last 10 years, funnily enough, this is round 2 and quarterback was the lowest result of any position in any round. Okay, for whatever reason, quarterbacks do not go in round 2. It just doesn't happen very often. I know it sounds crazy, but there's only been 8 quarterbacks drafted in round 2 in the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2023. For reference, 32 went in round 1, 17 went in round 6. For whatever reason, round 2, only 8 players drafted. One of them hit. Can you guess who that is? One of them hit. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback in round 2 in the last decade to hit.
What's interesting to me in the second round quarterback is because Jalen Hurts, if you compare Jalen Hurts now to all those quarterbacks are just like laughable, right? Like who?
But they weren't at the moment when they went in when they were drafted in round 2.
In the second round. Hey, yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Course,
I wonder
hindsight
if quarterback.
I mean, if we knew anything hindsight, it would be ridiculous. But that's not how it works in the draft.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So essentially, 1 out of 8 quarterbacks in the past 10 years has hit, and that was Jalen Hurts.
Round 1 quarterbacks have a hit rate of 59.4%. It's a huge drop off from round 1 to round 2.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, super interesting. I haven't talked to you about this, but I'm going to include this in our rookie report that we offer to people.
Okay.
I want to find a way to include this because I think it's such good information. But anyway, look, just an opinion, just some information to add to you. You can't argue with history, by the way. It's just, I'm not saying an opinion. I'm saying history, okay? These are numbers. Look at the numbers. Argue with the wall. I'm joking. But anyway, look, we do have a like goal today of 100. We will get into round 3 here. We are currently at 78, so we're 22 likes away from our like goal of 100. Do us a favor, hit that like button if you have yet to do so. And on other news, we are trying to hit 15K. We are currently 30 subscribers away from 12,000. 30 subscribers away from 12,000. That is absolutely awesome. We appreciate y'all.
That's crazy.
And if you've been lurking for a while, maybe today's a day. Maybe today's the day you subscribe.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for everyone that's already have subscribed. Maybe you're watching, like Zach said, lurking. Drop a like or drop a subscribe. We appreciate you. Either way, we're going to continue to grind out no matter what.
That's right.
As always here.
It's a grind set,
It is the grind set.
I am on the clock here. Roman goes. We got to update our little sheet here. Roman went. Keon went. Jalen Wright went. And I got some options. I might shock some people with this one.
I'm listening.
Oh, man, it's Titan Premium, though.
I'm listening.
All right, never mind. I'm not going to shock anyone. I feel like in a Titan Premium format, I might not like this player as much as others, but I'm not going to let him fall any further. I'll take Jatavion Sanders at the 303. The Commanders draft him. They desperately need a receiving threat out of the tight end spot, so I'll take Jatavion there at the 303. Spencer Rattler goes next, and Spencer.
The Broncos.
What round was that?
3rd round to the Broncos.
Okay, 3rd round to the Broncos. Do you want to know the hit rate of a 3rd round quarterback?
I'm listening.
0%.
GG's.
0 out of 14 quarterbacks in the last
Spencer Rattler
10 years. 0 out of 14 have hit for fantasy. But hey, before 2 years ago, there was no quarterback in round 7 to ever hit, and then Brock Purdy came along. So why not? Why not Spencer Rattler?
Why not Spencer? I mean, why not us? All right, a wide receiver that keeps falling that I think we should have a conversation about is Troy Franklin. I'll take him here. The landing spot is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
He goes to the Indianapolis Colts. What happened? And this is also another big take of mine that I don't know why. There's no reason behind it. Well, there is a couple reasons. You know, the NFL Combine was pretty bad for him. The lack of word of mouth that's coming around Troy Franklin. Where does he fit? Now, I do believe he's very talented. I do believe he should be a 2nd round pick, but I will not be surprised, like in this mock draft, that he goes into the 3rd round. I will not be surprised if he falls to one of these teams where he is just then, sounds terrible, but like a dead asset. Depending on where he goes. Now, he goes in the 3rd round and goes to one of the best situations. If he goes to the 3rd round to the Chargers, we're loving it. If he goes to the 3rd round to insert team that needs a wide receiver, I love it. But Troy Franklin is struggling right now in the fantasy community, and I would say in GM's eyes as well. Well, I will not be surprised if he does fall once again to the 3rd round.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. A lot of people talking about Russell Wilson, by the way. Yes, he was round 3, but he was drafted in 2012. Yeah, we're getting old, guys. 2012. That is 12 drafts ago.
2012.
But yeah,
doing in 2012?
Troy makes sense. We don't dislike Troy, but this landing spot I think is my least favorite for any wide receiver. The Colts. I just don't like it. Malik Washington, I think that's a really fun pick at the 306, by the way. Malik Washington had the 2nd best PFF receiving grade. Only Malik Neighbors had a higher receiving grade. Malik Washington broke every record Virginia had for receiving. He broke ACC records for receiving. And he goes to the Buffalo Bills in round 4. I know they just signed Curtis Samuel. I know they have Khalil Shakir, but Malik would be a huge threat to those guys from day one. Polk goes to the Bears. Tez Walker goes to the Cardinals. Those guys are off the board now. Ben Sinnott and Jaheim Bell, a couple tight ends back to back. Where did those guys go?
Ben Sinnott went to the Bengals in the 3rd round, and Jaheim Bell went to the New England Patriots in the 5th round.
Okay. So both of those guys off the board.
Maybe 2 interesting landing spots there for some of those guys.
Yeah, there's a tight end that went in round 2. His name is Jared Wiley. And I'll be honest, I don't know anything about the guy. So I was looking at it, but I was just like, I don't even know if he gets drafted because none of us really know much.
Yeah.
Javon Baker goes at the 311. I love that pick. Hate his landing spot, but love the player. Baker and Burton, some of my favorite deep sleepers in the class. Baker goes to the Ravens. I would not be surprised if Javon Baker's a 2nd round pick. Is that a hot take?
One of these wide receivers is going to be a 2nd round pick. That's what I would say right now. Everyone that went in the 3rd round, I think any of those guys can go in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I think Baker could.
The list can go on. Yeah, Baker.
He lands with the Ravens. Burton lands with the Raiders. So that's the end of round 3. Who do you guys think is the best value in round 3? Let us know in the chat. Trey says Colts isn't the worst spot immediately. Immediate slot receiver for Troy, I guess he's saying. Wide receiver 2. Here's the thing, Trey. And he says AR is going to be elite. He's definitely going to be an elite fantasy quarterback, but there's a lot of context we got to take into account here for a Colts wide receiver, okay? Number 1, Michael Pittman was just signed to a long-term deal. Number 2, there is no evidence at all, anywhere, that Anthony Richardson can support multiple wide receivers in fantasy. There's no evidence that he can support one. There was 2 games where A-Rich was healthy last year. In those 2 games, one game, Pittman had over 20 fantasy points. The other game, Pittman had 4 targets and caught one of them. So there is no evidence to tell us yet. We think he can, but there's no evidence to tell us yet if A-Rich can support even one top 12 wide receiver. There's no evidence that he can support 2. But you also have to consider that this team is going to be running the ball a lot. They also have Josh Downs, who produced well out of the slot last year. Where does Troy Franklin fit in? It's a tough situation to kind of gauge right now. That's our concerns with the Colts landing spot. Not Franklin as a player, not A-Rich as a fantasy talent, but we needed A-Rich to take a big step as a passer, and that was stripped away from him because of his injury last year.
Yeah, completely agree there with Troy Franklin and A-Rich. We'll see what happens, but I think the fantasy community will see whichever wide receiver that goes to that landing spot fall, personally. So now if Josh Downs wasn't there,
yeah,
I think it could be a different conversation. And I'm not saying Josh Downs is a better talent. Troy Franklin is a better talent than Josh Downs, but now there's 3 wide receivers with mouths to feed, plus Jonathan Taylor, plus Anthony Richardson, who's I guess I would say a run first quarterback for fantasy. So that hinders him a lot.
And we wish we would have seen an entire A-Rich season, so we could have made some more deductions from like his rookie year and what progress he might have made. It's tough for him. But he absolutely can do that. It's just a longer road now. All right, so best value in round 3. Sparrow says Roman to the Cowboys. Case says Keon Coleman getting a 2nd round wide receiver in the 3rd. He loves it. Jacob loves Ben Sinnott. We got Malik Washington, Baker at the 311.
Yep.
Roman at the 3-1. Ben Sinnott is the tight end 2 in the class, Steven says. I don't have any strong opinion on tight ends after Brock Bowers in this class. What about you? I mean, let's just quickly, I guess, Twitter version.
Well,
do you have any strong opinion on tight end 2 in this class?
Tight end 2, no. I would say a sleeper would be Ben Sinnott. I would not be surprised if he goes ahead of Sanders or Bell and is a tight end 2 that comes out, and we're probably taking him because he went to a very favorable landing spot. That's probably a hot take. How about that?
That's fair. Yeah. I think that makes sense. For me, it could be Sanders, could be Sinnott, could be Theo, could be so many names you could throw in there. Cade. I mean, remember, guys, last year, Britton Strange went in round 2, and we were all like, what the fuck? What?
Who?
But anyway, Joe loves Troy in round 3 as well. But hey, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We are so close to our like goal, just 4 likes away from 100 now. So if you have yet to hit that like button, you could be the reason we hit that 100 like goal. But let's get into round 4, and let's see how things happen here as Aselmo is on the clock with the first pick.
Aselmo.
With the first pick of the 2024 NFL Draft. The Chicago Bears select.
Oh gosh.
Spencer Rattler. Imagine the chaos.
I'm absolutely nervous for it. I just want chaos.
Yes.
I think it's always chaos, but I want it. I want it even more this year.
I think we will see so many trades during this draft. I expect there to be a huge amount of trades. Bucky Irvin went to the Broncos in round 5. I guess this tells us that Jaleel McLaughlin was good, but Peyton's like, I want an upgraded version of Jaleel McLaughlin to the offense.
No question.
And Bucky could definitely
he's
feel
definitely
that.
better. Oh yeah, 100%, 1000%.
Bucky's off the board. How would you feel about Javonte Williams if Bucky went to the Broncos in round 5?
Well, I don't feel good about Javonte Williams, period.
Just in general.
But yeah, but I think he is somebody that I am scared of the NFL, or the team bringing in another running back, and that can be anyone. That can just be, from Bucky Irving to Aldrick Estime to Will Shipley to some of these guys, Ray Davis. I think that really does change the narrative for someone like a Javonte Williams, because they need somebody. I know you have Samaje Perine. I know you have Jaleel McLaughlin, but I like Bucky Irving as a pass catcher more than Javonte Williams, and that's what you want upside in Bucky Irving, which is exciting.
I agree. I'm starting to think that Bucky's ceiling is more Devin Singletary than it is Kyron Williams, but I want to be open to ranges of outcome. But Ray Davis goes off the board in the 5th round. He goes to the Bills. We love Ray Davis. So at the 3-3, I said I'm going to make a pick that shocked everyone. Okay. But I realized that this player would probably fall to me in round 4. So it didn't work in round 2 where I let Jalen McMillan fall. But in round 3, it worked, letting this player fall. In round 5, my RB5 comes off the board in the class. He dominated the combine, put himself on the map. Isaac Horrendo goes to the Kansas City Chiefs in round 5. And if you think about it, how likely are the Chiefs to extend Isaiah Pacheco? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Likely.
I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But based off of the moves they have made in the last 2 to 3 years, it would suggest to us they are unlikely to pay a high price for a running back. Is Isaac their next Isaiah Pacheco? Could we see him slowly get worked into the rotation? I mean, Isaiah Pacheco was a 7th round pick. He was a hidden gem. Clearly, he should have been drafted higher. I feel the same exact way about Isaac Horrendo here at the 403. So I'll take him off the board as Theo Johnson goes next. And now you're on the clock.
Oh, Theo. So the Theo.
Theo Johnson.
Gosh, there's nothing really happening here. Hey. I think I see a running back that is interesting in the 4th round, and that is Aldrick Estime. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I like
that. In the 4th round. Who else is there to compete with him there? I know you have Aaron Jones. Maybe can he stay healthy? What's going to happen there? So I'll take Aldrick Estime. I was contemplating Jacob Cohen. You know what would be fun?
What?
I don't know. And this is like my own excitement. I don't know why, but with the new kickoff rules, I feel like that could be incorporated to fantasy somehow, some way. Yeah. Once I saw the kickoff rules, and I saw it, I was like, oh, what if we get like a kickoff returner?
It would be cool to draft kickoff returners.
Because now it's a legit strategy, genuinely. Like, you need to have somebody there that is twitchy, that is fast, that can, turn on a dime and change directions because of how quickly those players are going to be at them which I think could be fun for fantasy.
Would you
And
draft the kickoff returner as a team? Because I think there'll be a lot of end rounds and stuff. Or would you draft a specific player?
uh,
Because a lot of kick returners might be your wide receiver now. So you might have to
Sure.
draft the team if you
Sure.
incorporated that.
I guess that would be a bit difficult, but yes. I
Because
guess it kinda
imagine
just all-
imagine Jalen Waddle is returning kicks now for the Dolphins if they think it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
You're drafting him as a wide receiver. You can't play him at kick returner.
No. Well, I guess he just gets extra different type of points as a kick returner. Like they said, they would say the same thing yet with Waddle, with Tyreek Hill, with
Right.
Kadarius Toney. I don't know. I wouldn't know how that would work. Points wise.
Yeah.
But I think that's exciting. I think that's what's exciting about the kickoff rule because it's like I'm actually going to watch it. Like I have to watch it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I feel like if we just add points for kickoff return, it doesn't feel very fun. But if you somehow like make that a position, that feels like where the strategy comes in. I guess it would be strategy either way. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I get it.
if it was like a
it.
fundamental change to the way that we did it, that would be pretty cool.
I guess it kind of breaks it down even more because how I mean, are hypothetically, are the Dolphins really going to put Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle in the backfield?
They might. Why wouldn't they if they have
Injuries.
But that's the whole. That's why this entire thing has changed to limit injuries. That's why the entire kickoff rules have changed, is because now it's very like the percentage of injuries, in their opinion, based off this change, will go down drastically because you no longer have guys running from the 50-yard line to smack into dudes that are 35 or whatever. They're on the same exact starting line. It's like they're blocking each other straight away. So it gives more advantage to the returners.
Yeah, it does. But it does give more advantage to the returners, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's fun though.
Yeah.
I think that is something that as fantasy commissioners we should look into just for like test it in one league. I don't know.
I agree.
However way we can do that.
Well, let's see
Maybe
how
our
the
home
NFL
league.
changes this year, and then that might be a change you implement next year if it becomes like a huge thing,
Yeah, that would be really fun.
That is a fun idea though to play out. All right, guys, we did reach 100 likes thanks to your help, so we appreciate you big time. And in return, we will pop off a second mock draft. This will be one quarterback for the one quarterback gang. And if people want to join this mock draft, Badake, how can they go about doing so?
Yeah, guys, join our Discord. Link in the description below, and I'll put that link in the chat. Okay, once you join our Discord, go to the FantasyLand tab with the orange footballs on the left side of your screen, and then go to content releases. That's how you can join each and every mock draft. You see that I posted the link of the old mock draft there before. Zach said, hey, gang, right here. First come, first serve. Once again, join our Discord, FantasyLand footballs, orange footballs. Go to content releases. And that's exactly where I can join.
Let's let other people join this one, by the way. Let's sit this one out and just commentate if it fills up.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Joe, we just mentioned how to join there. That last about minute and a half there was all the instructions you need. Hopefully you were able to join the Discord, but if not this time, keep in mind we are live very often, so you'll always get a chance to kind of join us. Hopefully let us know if anything wasn't clear as well. We'd be happy to clarify anything. But this is filling up. Still got about 5 spots left. Five spots left. Chase says, I'm ready to see Anthony Richardson back there returning kicks. Oh my gosh.
I just, you think of like the Cordero Pattersons. Like that's why I thought Jacob Coing really quick. It's really exciting in a kickoff return type of basis. I'm trying to think of other players that are. Kadarius Toney is really fun as even though he's not for fantasy, he's going to be getting these crazy points like we were hoping that he will be. But Kadarius Toney makes things a lot more interesting.
Yes, we have five spots left still. Now that the Discord users have had their shot, I'm going to put a direct link in the chat right here. All right, direct link in the chat right here. We need 5 people to join. Honestly, Badake and I will join if no one wants, but we typically have so many people joining that it's difficult for them to get in. So we wanted to let you guys kind of lead the way here, but we'll give it about 30 seconds. Again, direct link in the chat if you want to join the mock, and Badake and I will join if it doesn't end up filling up. We just want to give you guys every opportunity to be a part of a rookie draft that we do. But it does give us, as that's filling up, a chance to promote to you guys. Yeah, that's right. We're advertising to you right now in real time. We got no problem saying it, okay? It's what we're doing. But if you guys will see us tomorrow night live reviewing people's Dynasty teams. If you want your team to be reviewed, it's very simple. I put a direct link in the chat where you can sign up, but you got to do two things. Have to use the code LAND, have to be a Motherflocker member. I put a direct link in the chat. When you sign up, you get everything on your screen, including that Dynasty team review. Feel free to DM us if you have any questions at all. But we are filled. So let's go ahead and start this one quarterback mock again, guys. Just so we're all on the same page, I'll put it in the chat here as my keyboard dies at the perfect time. Okay, here we go. One quarterback, PPR, tight end premium. And let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let me get my charger. 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds on the clock. Wow. You guys like Call of Duty? I'm really addicted right now. I am absolutely addicted to that game. All I want to do is play Call of Duty, but I have to do so much other stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board. Malik Neighbors off the board. And then Jaden Daniels is off the board. I hope he knows that at the 103, we are doing a quarterback.
One quarterback, yeah.
League. But Jaden Daniels, but look, he goes Jaden Daniels because maybe his rushing upside, right?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe you would expect Caleb Williams to be going there, but no, it's Jaden Daniels. With Mark gets a absolute, gift there at the 104, getting Roma Dunze and then Brock Bowers.
Yeah, huge values at the 104 and the 105 there. Again, one quarterback league. Some people might, in some leagues it's true. Like quarterbacks do go high. In other leagues, they don't go until round 2. It's every one quarterback league. We don't play in many, but as we have learned from you guys, is extremely different. They are all they just work in different ways. Yeah. They have different trends, if you will. But Bowers in a tight end premium makes a lot of sense there. Brian Thomas to the Jags. Then we see Caleb Williams at the 107. So these quarterbacks are going to push really good players down the board in this one quarterback draft.
No question about it. I think this is where we could potentially see. There you go, Adonai Mitchell. And I was going to say one other player, but we'll wait and see here. Xavier Worthy at the 109.
We are using the same landing spots, by the way, from the mock draft we just used. I'll put a link in the chat. This is Shane Hallam's 7-round mock. Jonathan Brooks is the first running back off the board at the 110. And then Drake May goes next.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks goes to the Chargers there.
I gotta be honest.
At the 112. Wow.
I am very surprised there's a certain name that's still out there.
No question. No question. I think if Brucey can find it, oh my goodness, that was loud.
Trey Benson, a 2nd-round pick in a one quarterback league, the first running back off the board in the draft we used for landing spots to the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys?
That is probably the steal of this entire draft. I mean, we'll see what other picks happen, but this has got to be the steal of the entire draft so far.
No question. And that's what I thought was going to go maybe at the 106, 107 will be Trey Benson with that Dallas Cowboys landing spot there. But obviously you see Caleb Williams, Adonai Mitchell, and the rest of those guys go. I think if Trey Benson in the one quarterback league does go and have a favorable landing spot like that, you can see him as early as the 106, potentially, depending if it's a tight end premium, depending if it's not a tight end premium. That landing spot is extremely intriguing, and I think a lot of people are going to want to take Benson to the Cowboys with the history that they've had of just absolutely feeding the running back. I think that's what Jerry wants. Yeah. He wants Zeke back. He wants the old Zeke. He wants a guy that he can rely on, that can bring the run game, that can extend the run game for this Dallas Cowboys, and Trey Benson could do that in this landing spot here.
Leggett off the board, then Keon Coleman. Leggett is a Panther in round 2. Coleman's a Lion in round 2. Casey, by the way, said in the chat, Trey Benson wouldn't make it past the 106 in his draft.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I think he's a huge value. Yes, Michael, one quarterback. We reached our like goal, so we're helping out the one quarterback gang. Ricky Pearsall at the 205. He goes to the Patriots. He and Drake May would have an opportunity to build some chemistry throughout the offseason.
No question.
So that makes a lot of sense. Mark says he didn't know the landing spots. Makes sense. Totally okay.
Yeah, that's all right, Mark.
Jalen McMillan at the 206. Earlier I said the best value was Trey Benson. He still is, but Jalen is got to be close.
Jalen McMillan here. Prove me wrong.
Come on,
Prove
brother. Join.
me wrong.
It's never too late to join the train.
I'll join it once I see it.
It'll be too late.
It would be too. I'll have one or two. I won't have a lot. I think this is going to be this year's locked and loaded, depending on where he goes. 3rd round, 4th round pick for you. Absolute guarantee.
This would be my
locked
Puka
and
Nakua
loaded.
this year. Yeah.
100%. That is Jalen McMillan. For
I will
you.
have as many as I can in late. But Puka was an auto pick for me in round 3 or 4. Jalen's probably an auto pick late 2nd and then round 3 and 4 for me.
Okay. Yeah. Jalen McMillan is definitely going to be very intriguing. Roman Wilson, Jalen Wright, Tavion Sanders, and Javon Baker.
Yeah, tight end
all
premium. Sanders
board.
falling down the board there a little bit. Blake Corum is the 4th running back off the board. He goes to your Giants. Jalen Wright is interesting. He went to the Houston Texans. I
Joe Mixon
think
there.
there's an argument to be made that Wright's play, the way he plays, what he offers, almost fits the Texans offense a little bit better than a Joe Mixon. I'm not going to claim that he beats him in year 1 or anything, but it feels like Wright's play and what he offers fits the Texans offense a little bit better than a Mixon.
What does he? Who does he play? The Singletary or Damian Pierce role?
Well, I don't
Because,
think
like-
we can think that way because I don't think either Mixon or, do you know what I mean?
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I had to compare it to last year's, I feel like Joe Mixon would be the Devin Singletary, just based off of like his
Neither
history
of them
a
are
pass
Damian
catching
Pierce as players. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They all offer something that Damian Pierce doesn't offer.
Mm.
But JJ at the 302, you get the quarterback that goes to the Vikings, and you get him in round 3. First round quarterback, you get him in round 3. While, 3 quarterbacks that were also in the first round went in the first round of the rookie draft. That feels like a good steal there.
Yeah, I would agree. JJ McCarthy at the 3-2 as well. Malachi would probably be my automatic one.
Malachi Corley at the 301.
Yeah, like my 3rd round, 4th round pick. I mean, we saw him go in the early 2nd last. Oh no, where did he go? In a 2 quarterback. Yeah, he went early 2nd, so
Malachi
late second,
went
excuse me, late
at
second.
the
212, didn't he?
212.
Yeah, so
Great
that would
value there.
probably be that. No more talks on Walker either. Just dead in the water. I haven't heard anything. I think he falls.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that, we had plenty of conversations about him in January and February. A lot of people had him as like a top 5 guy in the class, and
I wonder
people
if that's
that
still
we
the same.
trusted. I doubt it's the same for them. People that we trusted, people that we like, people that we respect, had him as a top 5 guy, and we were really confused. We just didn't see that. But now it doesn't feel like anyone has him anywhere near their top 5.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think it's the same with someone like. I feel like what's happening right now, or I feel like in the last couple of weeks, is in the running back position is Will Shipley.
Will
lot of
Shipley's
people
definitely
are-
on the rise.
A lot of people talk about Will Shipley, but like, why wasn't he on the rise back then? Like, what did he do now to say
Nothing
just
has
more
done.
conversations?
He had a pro day, but
The pro day wasn't amazing.
it was pretty good.
Like
It was pretty good. He had a great pro day, actually.
Okay, I mean,
But I don't
think it
feel
was,
like
out of this world.
look, to me, a pro day is not going to change anything in the way I value a prospect. Now, if the prospect hasn't tested at all and then they test, it will certainly affect their RAS score, which accounts for about less than 10% of their score.
Yeah.
But it's not going to drastically, a pro day is not going to drastically change much at all.
Yeah.
Justin, yeah, the stream is going quite quick. Trey likes Braylon at the 212. Michael says, what is the best someone can expect at the 111? I guess this is a one quarterback. I wouldn't expect Brooks or Benson to be there. I could be wrong. But I think you're probably looking at one of those quarterbacks, a Daniels, a Williams at the 111, or some names like McConkey, Mitchell, Worthy, depending on how the beginning of your drafts go.
Yeah, agreed. I think the quarterbacks is probably the sweetest spot there at the 111. Any one of those top 3 guys are easily going to land at the 111, which is going to be exciting in a one quarterback league if you don't have a top 10 quarterback on your team.
Yes. Joe says, what's your favorite pick in every round? Round 1, my favorite pick would probably be either Mitchell, Worthy, or Brooks. Round 2, Benson, easily. Round 3, I probably would say Malachi Corley.
Yeah.
And then round 4, Isaac Correndo for me. What about you?
Yeah, I would say, the Adonai Mitchells. I like Brian Thomas there at the 1-6 as well. I think Roma Dunze should have went at the 103, so maybe I can say Roma Dunze.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just based off value there. In the second round, I would agree Trey Benson. I would throw another name there. 2 other names with Ricky Pearsall and Roman Wilson. Yeah. I think both of those guys are tremendous in the second round. Malachi Corley obviously is my guy here in the third. And then in the fourth round, I would probably have to say I really like, if I'm not mistaken, Ray Davis went to an intriguing landing spot. He went to the Bills. He played that goal line guy that, James Cook never plays. So I like Ray Davis going to the Bills.
Yeah. All right, we're going to end the stream with 5 questions. We will answer 5 of your questions in only 5. All right? So it's time for a Q&A. But again, keep in mind, only 5 questions. So the first 5 that we see, we will answer. That's how it's going to go. Keep in mind that we currently have a like goal, or we're currently, 29 subscribers away from 12K, which is awesome. You guys are absolutely incredible. So if you have yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Tyler's 1 out of 5. First question out of 5. 5 only. Who does everyone have at wide receiver 4? I like Brian Thomas for sure, but not sure he's the most wide receiver 4. He's the wide receiver 4, like most seem to think. Brian Thomas would be my wide receiver 4.
Yeah, he is mine as well.
I think there are definitely some flaws in his game. There definitely are some areas that he needs to improve. But if I was to look at every option as wide receiver 4, he has clearly the highest upside, in my opinion. He's got the best testing numbers. He's the best athlete of all the other options. So it would be Brian, even though I do think he needs to improve as a route runner pretty drastically.
Agreed. My number 4 as well there, Tyler.
Wyatt says, is the 104 too early to take Rome in a 12-team superflex, or should I trade back? Caleb, Marv, Neighbors are looking like 1 to 3. In my opinion, it is too early. Everyone's going to have a different opinion here. But, of course, things can change. Let's say Rome Odunze goes to the Cardinals, right? The Cardinals trade out of pick number 4. They trade with the Giants. They trade with the Vikings. I don't know, name a team. And then, Rome goes to the Cardinals, for example. But right now, the likely landing spots are the Bears. We've seen them to the Titans at times. Who knows? Like, anything's possible. The Giants, maybe. And at the end of the day, I think we feel very confident that 3 to 4 quarterbacks are going in the top 10. And in the Superflex format, I think I'd probably take a Daniels or a May over them in the top 5. So I would suggest moving back. But obviously, things can change.
Wyatt, one thing I would say is that if at the 104, there's another team that probably wants a quarterback, and we will always prioritize quarterback over wide receiver. a first round quarterback over a wide receiver, especially in the top 10, why don't you try and trade back and see where Rome is potentially going to go? It's like, let's say he wants to go, he's going to go at the 106, but the 105 and the 10, and you have the 104. We need a quarterback. Trade back. Trade back.
Ideally, you trade back there and get value. Steven, this is question 3 out of 5. He says, in Superflex 10-man, Kyron for the 105 or Kincaid for the 108, I'm only taking one trade. If you can get the 105 for Kyron, I would take that in a heartbeat.
100%. Kyron Williams. We want, and I'm going to be bringing out a video.
Well, the 105, right? Or do we disagree?
No, I want the 105.
Okay, sorry, you said Kyron Williams. We want.
Yeah. Sorry, I guess I would want the Kyron Williams one out of the Kincaid one.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm trying to say. But yes, I would be looking at the 105, and I'll bring that up in a video that's going to be releasing earlier next week, if I'm not mistaken.
I absolutely am on the Kyron Williams side. If you're telling me that in a super flex league I can get a top 5 pick for him, it would be a no-brainer. You're telling me I can get a top 10 pick regardless of position, a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL draft, a top 10 quarterback in the NFL draft with, the volatility of running backs? Give me the 105 in a heartbeat. That's question 3. Question 4 out of 5 is from LOT. He says, for this draft, running backs, are there any you are confident in no matter where they go? If I had to answer that question, it would be Benson and Brooks. But I can also recognize that if Benson and Brooks go, it's Zach Charbonnet 2.0, then we absolutely have to reassess. There's not a Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs in this draft where it doesn't matter. They're elite, premier, generational type talents in the grades where it doesn't matter. But I would say Benson and Brooks would be the 2 names that come to mind.
Yeah, Benson and Brooks. I think there's going to be other players that emerge, no question. But yeah, if you had to bet on it, it has to be the top 2, and that's where we've always lied. Benson and Brooks were going to be 2 guys that can make an impact in this year's NFL class. So yeah, there's other players, but those are the guys that we were betting on as our 1-2 punch at the running back room.
I love it. Question 5 out of 5 is from Steven, and he says, what does it take for T-Law to get some hype? Well, here's what I would say, Steven. As someone who is actively trying to buy Trevor Lawrence, I don't mind the lack of hype. In fact, I prefer the lack of hype. I prefer the buy low. So I'm hoping he doesn't get any hype. But what about you?
I mean, him getting a first round wide receiver is going to get him hype.
Sure.
That's exactly what's going to get him some more talks, because a lot of people are not loving that there's Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk there. To be fair, he has a lot of weapons around him. Think about it. Travis Etienne, they drafted with him. You have Gabe Davis, who may not be exciting, but he's not
He's
nobody.
Good for 5 touchdowns a year.
You have Christian Kirk, and then you have whoever else they're going to be bringing in potentially.
Evan Ingram
in the first round. Yeah, and Evan Ingram, and another wide receiver that we've seen projected to go in the first round multiple times. He has weapons around him. I think Trevor Lawrence is 1 year away of being like, where should we be valuing him? If Trevor Lawrence does not have a top 12 finish this year in fantasy and doesn't take the team to the playoffs, I think the organization could be questioning him. That's my opinion. Maybe that's way too far. But if he had Calvin Ridley is not there. They bring in another wide receiver this year, and he may be young, and it's a whole new regime, or not a regime, but it's growing pains. But can Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence going to get the long-term contract?
I'll be honest with you. There is 0% doubt in my mind he gets a long-term contract. And I don't want to turn this into a Trevor Lawrence debate, because as we know from past, it could take 30 minutes. But I will just Twitter version. We quickly forget how bad the Jacksonville Jaguars were for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Decades. Laughing stock of the NFL. Trevor Lawrence.
And it may not be him. It
to the playoffs.
Peterson.
He wins a playoff game, and the turnaround he had for the Jags is ridiculous. We should expect some sort of block in the road as he tries to build up that organization together with Doug Peterson. So I won't say too much. All I will say is Trevor Lawrence hate is way too far.
Yeah, and I would say like it probably be Doug Peterson that takes the hit more than Trevor Lawrence. Like if they're not successful, does Doug get the boo and is like, you know what, let's restart fresh and stay with Trevor? So like I can see that pathway as well of them getting rid of Doug.
We had another question I thought was just interesting. You know, we've already answered 5, and 5 is what we said we would do. This is a bonus one. What's your favorite thing of making videos? I guess what's your favorite thing of being a content creator?
I think it's just the community. Honestly, like
That's a good answer.
I think the community has been awesome. If I didn't have to make videos and like all these people were to come in and watch us talk, like if let's say if I didn't make videos, I think that would be just as good. Like the videos are a bonus because we do more research, we understand these players, we go more in depth of breaking down things for you guys, but having more conversations, kind of like we were talking about Trevor Lawrence, I think it's kind of like what I thrive on. I think you would thrive on that as well. Like I know you thrive on the research, you know, we both do. Like I love having conversations and going more in depth into that with the community here, which is awesome. So I'll probably have to say the community.
It's really interesting because since COVID, online communities have become very popular and almost like a staple of people's lives, and that's in so many different forms. But I do agree that like the people is a big reason why. Just there are so many great people that we know, whether it's been multiple years since day one or whether it's been in the last week we've gotten to know people. Now, look, probably our least favorite thing about this is the online trolls. There's always people who will disrespect your work and not put any work in their own and just, you know, call you an idiot or whatever, be rude. But I think there is always more positivity and community that's built more than anything. At the end of the day, I think that's a really, really good answer. I'd say my second answer would probably just be testing myself, testing my ability to get better at it. I always want to be better at this. This is what I want to do forever. So constantly trying to test myself, trying to improve, trying to make better videos, trying to, you know, switch things up. Or if I have an opinion on a player, dive into the research. And if it doesn't line up, change that opinion on a player. You know, I this week I'm recording a video and I've already talked about it many times in this stream, but essentially I looked at the last decade. I looked at hit rates for every single position. And I'm not going to lie to you, that research is going to fundamentally change the way that I do rookie drafts. It just is. I want it to be a part of our rookie report. We're going to add it to our rookie report for you guys to see. But knowing we have a decade, we have more, but I'm only including a decade of research to tell you what is likely to happen. Why haven't I, you know, pushed myself to the limit to find that out before? So I like pushing myself to the limit. I like trying to get better at it. Ultimately, I want to be better at this in a week than I am now. I want to be better at it in a year than I am now. I want to be a better scout. I want to be a better content creator. And at the end of the day, I think Badake and I would have never done this if we don't love fantasy football. That's really what it all comes down to. If one day, Badake, you stop liking fantasy football, you stop liking the NFL, it's not a passion of yours, you shouldn't continue. If I end up not liking the NFL and I'm not interested in fantasy anymore, I shouldn't continue. I should not do this just to create content. I should do it if I genuinely love it. Otherwise, I think you will burn out and you will just stop.
No question. And it's so weird, but I thought about like, okay, what's life after what's life after this? And I think I still want to be in some sort of content creation via fantasy football or whatever that may be, whether it's podcasts. And it's may not be you know, me releasing videos, but me being on a podcast where I'm more behind the scenes or whatever. Yeah. Because you think of like NFL players that love to play the game and they just can't do it anymore, but they're still in football. You think of old Call of Duty players that love to play Call of Duty and were professionals, but now they're just content creators for Call of Duty. You get what I'm saying? Like there's just different pathways. So yeah, like I would agree. Like I still want to be in fantasy football even after whatever this looks like.
Yeah, well, I don't see
You
an
know.
end in sight, but
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see what the future holds. But
No
anyway, that
question.
is we answered more than.
Get me on ESPN.
Would you want to be on ESPN though?
I mean, that sounds ridiculous.
I know it sounds ridiculous for
but
me to even be like, I would reject the thought
like
of that offer,
if ESPN,
but-
if ESPN send us an email right now and it says, yeah, you're gonna come to our studios and we'll give you a full show. It'll be done for us to say, actually, I'm not necessarily sure that's right for us. Surely we take the opportunity.
Well, see, I've thought about it, but here's the difficult part: is I no longer hold my future. I no longer hold my business. I've been
Yeah.
in a situation before where things have changed, industries have changed, and I've lost my job, and it was out of nowhere. I wasn't doing my job poorly.
Mhm.
So it's
I
definitely a
think
conversation you'd have to think of. I don't know. It seems
Sure.
like an automatic yes, but what if
I think there's a
what
lot
if
of
they don't
avenues and
enjoy
pathways.
what you do? You know?
Yeah, and I think that's the risk and reward that you take when giving up. Like, once again, hypothetically, if we had an email from ESPN and we said, you know what, guys, we're just gonna take a hiatus for the year. Come watch us on ESPN, and we hate it. We come right back here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, you know, and that's not gonna be easy for us or our viewers or our followers, or anyone. But like, I think that's the risk you take in a career when you think about opportunities like that. But that's a whole different hypothetical.
There'd have to be
and
some
we're
serious
nowhere near-
security, I think, in order for me to agree.
Oh, 100%.
But I also
100%.
feel like it's ridiculous for me to even like automatically say no. That's stupid. But anyway,
Yeah.
different questions for different days. But we appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Tomorrow night we'll be live, and we'll see you then. We'll be reviewing people's Dynasty teams. And again, if you want your Dynasty team to be reviewed, it's very simple. All you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We put a direct link in the chat there for you if you want your team reviewed by us. But we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. All love.